I know it's been a very, I guess I would say a very strange market right now. I've seen it kind of go like this a little bit. I think a lot of that has to do with the uncertainty with the US, with the tariffs, et cetera. And I think people are on a bit of pause, the voting in that. So while it is in this type of market, it is an ideal opportunity to reassess where you are with your business, what you're doing. And the most important thing is using your time effectively. So what I would say is the question is what I'm doing, what am I doing right now that's getting me clients? And I say this to other agents, but I'll give you an example of that. I think some of the challenges we have are agents will come in the office, they'll get themselves a coffee, they'll chat to some other agents, they'll smile, they'll have conversation about the kids and that. Then they'll sit down, they'll go on Realm, they'll look at some properties, maybe take a look at what the market's doing, they'll look at some stats, read some articles, go for lunch, come back, look at a couple other things, have a coffee, and feel like they've done a full day's work. And they really have not done anything productive. They've been here, they've been in the role of a realtor, but they're not doing anything productive that actually obtains clients. So we're going to look at that. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, what do you really do to further your business? And as we know, the real estate market is very competitive. Client acquisition is crucial for success. And hopefully this presentation will help you assess whether your current strategies are effective and how you can optimize them. So let's get started. Understanding your current strategies. So what methods are you using right now to attract clients? And we all hear the same thing over and over. Aaron does the training, all the managers do the training, Brian Buffini. There's so many coaches that talk about what do you do to get clients? Are you cold calling? Are you using your social media effectively? Are you networking? Are you talking about referrals? Are you doing online ads, etc.? The other question is, are you tracking your results? So if it's lead generated, are you conversion rates? Are you looking at your return on investment? If you're doing flyers, if you're doing pop-bys, are you actually quantifying the return that you're getting on your investment? And I think that's just as important. So when we talk about that, we understand, do we have a clear target audience? What is my audience? Am I looking for first-time buyers? Am I a commercial agent? Am I a residential agent, resale? Am I doing pre-construction? And not to say that you have to target or pigeonhole yourself into one, but there are so many things you can be doing to attract clients. And I think we have to get back to the basics and revisit it and account for that time. And later on in this presentation, we are going to talk about your time management and kind of the strategies that you use. Also, I have agents that are in here right now live, and I have agents on Zoom. And what I'd like to say is I'd like this to be more of an interactive presentation, talking and asking questions and any challenges that you have, so we can all talk about that and go through it. Because between all the people that we have in real estate in our brokerage, we have over 800 agents, there is a wealth of knowledge. There is so much knowledge and there are so many ideas. And I feel like if we share that knowledge, we'll be able to actually all be more successful with that. But the first thing you have to do, and what I'm going to strongly suggest, is that you have a pad of paper with you while we're doing this presentation and write down the things to ask yourself what you have to do better and how you're doing that in terms of your time management. So, for example, when it says, what methods are you using to attract clients? Let's say, for example, it's cold calling. And I know we all hate cold calling. I'm well aware of that. So there's other ways you can do that. There's other ways you can do that without actually cold calling. And I call it maybe a solicited call. And that's where you look at your farm area and you say, okay, I've got my farm area set up. I'm going to set up a search in Realm. And every time a new listing goes up in that area, I'm going to make calls to all the people saying, hey, my name's Steve Warren. I'm at Century 21. Your neighbor just listed their house at 256 Any Street. They're having an open house this weekend. I would love to take you if you'd like to go. Now, all of a sudden, it's not a cold call. It is a cold call, but it's a call that you're actually giving them information, item of information. So what happens is instead of you saying to them, hey, are you looking to buy or sell your house? You're not asking that. You're saying, hey, your neighbor is listing their house. It's a similar layout to yours. Would you like to see the property? I'd love to bring it to you. It doesn't even have to be your listing. All you're doing is informing somebody that there's a listing on the street. It's a reason to call somebody. And then maybe it starts a conversation. So what are your current strategies? If you don't like cold calling, maybe try it that way. The next question is you talk about your social media. Social media is a very strange duck, and the reason I say that is because we can go down the rabbit hole. We can spend 40 hours a week doing social media, and my question is that effectively getting you clients? Because we all want to look good on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, and we want to look like we're busy, and we want to give valuable information to our client base. But if you only have 500 people on your social media, and it's the same 500 people every week that you're posting to, maybe there's other strategies or more effective ways to do it. I'm not saying not to do the social media. Absolutely, social media is very effective, but it has to be in line with everything else. It's that balance of how many hours are you spending on that. And what I would say is I see agents that other agents follow. They have 15,000 followers, and other agents say to me, "Oh, I want to be like this guy." And you look, and these guys are spending hundreds of hours a month on social media, and then you look at their followers and it's all other realtors. So are they effectively getting more real estate from that? So what I would say is look at your current strategy. It's great to be effective on social media, but you have to track that. Are you getting results from that? Are you getting leads from that? How is your social media being used? Are you making it very slick and spending all this time? Or are you just recording yourself and saying, "Hey, it's Steve Warren. I'm at 123 Main Street. I've got an open house this weekend. I'd love to see you there. There's a fabulous built-in heated floor, et cetera, and that's it." Because that can take you 3 minutes and be just as effective as filming something for an hour where you're walking down the street and you're in a nice outfit and everything like that. Because the end of the day is it's all just about reminding people that you're in real estate. If there's any questions, please just ask. I've said to the people here, if there's questions here, I'll repeat the questions for them so that you can hear them. So next up, evaluating your lead generation. So the question is, this is a great opportunity to look at where you're at with your business. How do you present yourself? So how are potential clients finding you? Are you leveraging multiple marketing channels? Is your brand messaging clear and consistent? Are you using your CRM tools to manage and nurture leads? So let's break that down a little bit. For example, how are your potential clients finding you? I would have to say there's a whole pile of free things that you can do, guerrilla marketing, that costs you nothing, that would kind of get you in the forefront a little more in terms of your real estate. Like the first simple thing I can think of is when you type in your name into Google, if I type in Steve Warren Realtor, and please feel free to do that while you're on this call. If I type in Steve Warren Realtor, what comes up beside me? Does it come up as a Google business? Because you should, because you are a business. So if it's not coming up as a Google business, then you're not effectively marketing yourself for stuff that's essentially free. So whenever a new agent joins the business in that, I'm going to use an example because I'm looking at him right now. He came over, Jamie Lusted is in the room. Jamie Lusted just set up his Google business. It's not hard to do. It takes a little time to do it because you have to prove to them that the bricks and mortar, that the property that you're in is actually you. But what happens is then people can leave Google reviews. Then they see you as the hours that you operate, all of those things. That's all free. But I can tell you how many times I have seen where agents don't even have their Google business set up. Patricia, you're asking a question. Go ahead.
I've actually been trying to set up my Google business, but for some reason I've done the verification video walkthrough, and for some reason it's not getting approved. Like I've done it 3 times already. Do you have any
Okay, so yeah,
how
I do have advice for that. You're right, because sometimes Google's a little quirky like that. Sometimes if you just log in, it's actually approved. Have you tested it and logged in to see if you are approved? Because when you're logged in as Patricia Teslenko at century21.heritage, like you have to be logged in on Chrome as that. And then when you do and type it in, it should come up and say manage my business on the top. And if that's working, then it's been approved.
No, it hasn't been approved. So they keep saying like, oh, video was not whatever, didn't comply, but I do the whole thing. I show them like the area around, I show them the business cards, the workstations, everything like that they ask for, and for some reason, and I can't get through to their help desk either.
Okay, I was going to say to call the help desk. And again, I understand Google's a massive company. It's difficult to get a hold of. Has anyone else had any problems with that? Like Jamie, did that happen to you?
The day that we did it in your
Yeah.
office, it showed up.
Yeah.
And then I actually was on the phone with the client or past client.
Yeah.
Asked them tell them where to leave the review because they couldn't find them.
So they couldn't find the review. So is it,
No,
is it working now?
it didn't show up there. So like if you type me in now, It's a 50-50 chance.
It's a 50-50. Okay, so I'm not sure. It used to be, Patricia. I know about a year ago, they would send you a postcard to the address that you said, and you would have to receive that with a code on it and punch in the code, which I thought was quite effective. Now they're asking for a video. They don't always ask for a video. I had another agent that just said Century 21, because obviously Patricia, you're not using your home address, right?
No, I'm using the office
The
address,
office.
Richmond Hill, yeah.
Yeah, that should be approved. I'm not sure why. We can look at that after for sure. But usually it's fairly seamless. It usually takes about a week and it's done. Does everybody know what I mean by that, by the Google business? Is there anybody that doesn't understand that? Because I can show that. Everybody
Please, can you show it? Can you show, please?
yeah, well, give me 1 second. I'm gonna see if I can switch over here and share my screen. Give me 1 sec, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna type in here. Okay, let me share this. Can you see the screen that I'm sharing? Does it say google.ca? Or is it still the
No,
outside?
it's showing Google. You had
Yes,
It is showing Google. Is it showing, if I type in Steve Warren, are you seeing this? Steve Warren Realtor?
yes,
Okay, so take a look. You see how on the right-hand side I come up as a business? Does that make sense? So Patricia, let's type you in for a second, okay?
got you, thank you.
T-E, how do you spell it, Patricia? T-E?
SLENKO.
N-K-O, okay. So you see how Patricia doesn't have anything here? So she's not showing up as a business on Google. And remember, you're an independent contractor. You are your own business. So what would normally happen is if Patricia was logged in here and it was her face up here, this would come up ahead and it would say, by the way, if you want to know how to do it, you just type in Google My Business. As long as you're logged in. And there it is there, Google Business Profile, get listed, sign in to continue the Google Business Profile. So I can sign into it and then I can manage that. Okay. Now, these are the little things. Like what I'm saying is when the new market, it's a little bit slower for you right now. And you're like, how do I get clients? You need to set all your stuff up and line it up so that you're ready to go so that clients can find you. Because if anybody types in Patricia right now, and I'm not saying it wouldn't pop up because you have your website and that, it just looks more effective if you have your business set up there. Does that make sense? The other thing is you can get all the reviews and everything that go with it. So I'm going to continue on with this. So how are potential clients finding you? That's one way. The other way is, like you said, social media, your Instagram. And let me give you an example of little things that you can do. And this is what we talk about. What are you doing to get clients with your time? Sometimes you have to think outside the box a bit. Let's say, for example, I am a realtor and I have 400 followers on my Instagram. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, I don't have the same, I guess, the same amount of followers as someone else does. Maybe you have a friend that's a runner. Maybe you have a friend that's a professional swimmer and they've got 5,000 followers. So what would be effective is you call your friend and you say, listen, I'm going to post something. I'm going to post House of the Week or a lease that I've got or something like that. Can you repost it onto your site? So now you're getting access to their 5,000 followers and not just your 400. I mean, these are all things that you should be sitting down, making a list of how do I get myself out there? How do I get myself in front of people so that I can get more clients? So I always find the most effective way is look at your Instagram followers, look at who has a large amount of followers and ask them a favor. Hey, we're not in the same business. You're a swimmer. Is there any way I can just post this? Like, hey, this is my friend. I've actually had realtors. I had a lady that had some kids that were in their 20s. She was a bit older. She's more my age. And I said, how are you doing with your Facebook and your Instagram? She said, I only got like 40 followers, but her daughter had like 6,000 followers. And I said, why is your daughter not reposting your stuff? Oh, I never asked her. Well, you should, but remember the market. That's her daughter. So chances are her daughter, if she has a lease, she should be posting the leases because usually kids in their early 20s and that are not buying houses yet. So it's also knowing the target audience that you're looking at. And that goes on to the next thing. Are you leveraging the multiple marketing channels? So what do I mean by marketing channels? Anybody know what I mean by that? Everyone's being very quiet. It's all the different ways of revenue. So if your business is in the middle there, you've got your door knocking, you've got your cold calling, you've got your open houses, you've got your online leads. Those are all your marketing channels. So you've got to look at which ones are you leveraging, because you should have a whole pile of sources to come in to get you leads, because maybe right now your door knocking's not effective, but the Instagram is effective, or maybe the Instagram's effective, but this one's not. You always have that thing. It gives you a larger percentage of getting more clients. The next question is your brand messaging clear and consistent? Do people know what you do in real estate? Do they know your talents? Do they know your success? I always say this, there's only two reasons why people use a realtor. A, they like you, and B, they think you know what you're doing. And they have to know that to be able to use you. How many times have I had a realtor in my office that says, I can't believe it, my cousin knows I'm a realtor, and they used another real estate agent, they're selling their house. And I'll say to them, well, when's the last time you spoke to your cousin? Oh, I saw them last Easter. Well, you're not in the front and center part of their mind. They're not thinking about you, or they don't think you're the best at what you do. I've had realtors have their brothers and sisters not use them, saying, well, I think he'll sell my house better. And that is your fault, because if you're not convincing people that you know what you're doing with items of value, items of information. But I'm digressing. Let's go back to this. So what type of realtor are you? Are you reactive or are you proactive? The effective realtors, the top realtors in the business, they're all proactive. They're not reactive. You can react when someone contacts you, but you have to be proactive and get out there and do business. So it's very simple. And I know it's easy for me to sit there and preach it to you guys and everything like that. But the question is, how many calls did you make today? Like, it is now almost 12 o'clock. Has everybody made at least 3 calls to their contact list just to reach out and say, hi, let's have a coffee? Because I can guarantee half of the people haven't. And when I was selling, it's the exact same. It's a lot easier to say you're going to do something, but only you will hold yourself accountable. So the problem is, if you're not doing that, if you're not talking to people on a regular basis, you have no chance of being very successful. You might get the, what I call the bumping into business, you know, your cousin has to sell a house, they call you, that's reactive. And there's nothing wrong with being reactive as long as you're proactive as well. If you're proactive, you're going to have all these reactive things happening. Next question is, we always hammer it into you guys. Are you using your CRM tools to manage and nurture leads? Is everybody using a CRM? Even if it's not Remarketer, are you using it to manage and nurture your leads? Any questions? Feel free, don't be embarrassed if you want to talk or ask any questions like that. There's a lot of people on the call and I'm not really seeing anyone react, but the idea is that if you're using your CRM effectively, like we said, your sphere of influence is 85% of your business, 85%. People that already know you. All you have to do is convince them that you're the right realtor. You don't have to convince them you're a nice person because they already know you. So every single morning, and again, if you don't have any clients right now, this is the perfect time to utilize this. Every single morning, you should be getting up in the morning, going into Remarketer, if that's the one you use, which I like because it's easy, going into Remarketer, starting at the top of the list and saying, have I spoke to this person? I'm going to find a reason to reach out to them. What do I know about this person? Well, I know they have a rental property and I know that they live down in Toronto and they were complaining about the snow removal. Find an article, find something, find a reason to talk to them. Hey, John, it's so funny. I was thinking about the other day, this article came out and it was all about how the rental rates have gone down a bit and what you do if, if you're on a certain rental rate and you can't increase your rent, how to effectively manage that, whatever that reason is, and then send that article to them. Just give them a reason, a transactional email for them to respond back to you. Now you've started correspondence. It's nurturing the relationship. There's so many ways you can do that. I mean, I know that we do our 12 touch points. We do the newsletter that goes out, but if you're only relying on the CRM for a newsletter, that is a non-transactional email. What that means is that's reminding people that you're in real estate, but it doesn't mean they're going to pick up the phone and call you. You have to do transactional emails, which means you're expecting a response back. So you have to ask yourself, what type of realtor are you? If you're only being reactive, how do you switch and become proactive? And there's a lot of factors to it. It's about getting up in the morning and having that, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to be effective. I'm going to get this done. I've got 40 hours this week to be effective of getting clients and managing my CRM and managing my network of people that I know. And if you don't know as many people, how am I going to effectively get in front of other people? What do I need to do? Do I need to join a yoga class? Do I need to join a gym so I can talk to people? Like there's so many ways to do that. And I think that is the best way. So we're talking about creating opportunities. We said using your CRM to the max, and there's more things you can do. Is your website optimized and user-friendly? And I want to just reiterate that I don't think people are going on your website to search for houses. We'd like to think they are. They're using realtor.ca or they're using House Sigma or an app or something like that. What your website is doing is it's verifying that you are an agent and you're a successful agent. So having the website set up with the VOW feeds and all that kind of stuff, maybe having a blog that you do once every couple days and you update your website with valuable information, that is great to do. And you can do it way more effectively now with ChatGPT. You can literally punch in ChatGPT and say, give me the top 5 reasons why you would invest in a condo in Toronto today. Boom, it spits it out, put it on your blog. That's 10 minutes of your day, it's done, and you've accomplished something that is going to go towards having people become clients. Using your CRM to the max. Do you have active, engaging social media profiles? Is your website optimized, your online presence and your branding, is it consistent? I can't tell you how many times, even little things, like I'm going to challenge every realtor on this call right now, go on realtor.ca and look yourself up. Is your cell phone number on there? That is the most frustrating thing for people. If you're an agent and you're active and you're doing business, have your cell phone on there. Go ahead, question.
Found was, Broker Bay, make sure that it's,
That's a good question. On Broker Bay, it's manual. I found that agents are saying, I'm trying to book a showing. I can't get a hold of this agent and their phone number's on Broker Bay. Broker Bay, for whatever reason, doesn't seem to tie into Treb. If you have your phone number on Treb, it might not necessarily be on Broker Bay. Take the time, take 5 minutes, write it down on the thing and say, these are the things I'm going to check. I'm going to make sure I have my Google business up. I'm going to make sure my phone number is on Broker Bay. I'm going to make sure my cell phone number is on Treb so that it's on realtor.ca. Make it as easy as possible for people to get a hold of you. Here's the next thing. On your voicemail, does it say you're a realtor? How many times have I called agents that I'm calling in our office and I call and it goes to voicemail and it says, the person you're trying to speak to is unavailable. Please leave a message. And then I question, is it the right number? It should say, hey, it's Steve Warren from Century 21. I'm unavailable right now, but your call is important to me. Leave a message. I'll call you right back. Like, let them know that you're a realtor, because you spend all this work and time and effort trying to get clients and then they can't get a hold of you. That's crazy. So another thing on the list, make sure your voicemail says that you're a realtor. If you have 2 jobs and you're concerned about that, let's say, for example, you're part-time at real estate and you're a full-time pharmacist and you don't want to say that, then just say, hey, you've reached Steve Warren. Leave a message. Your call's important. That way they still know who they're talking to. Okay? Go to the next one. It's funny enough. Here's the next one. Client engagement and relationship building. Are you following up with the leads effectively? So for example, I have agents say to me, hey, is it worthwhile for me to do an open house for another agent? Absolutely, it's worthwhile. I mean, I know an agent that has a listing in Keswick. They had 11 families walk through the house this weekend. That was on the Saturday. Now, on the Sunday, they only had 2. It's the luck of the draw, but they had 11 people. And I asked that agent, did you have them sign in on Remarketer so you can nurture it? Oh, no, it was busy. I didn't do that. I gave them my business card. You gave them your business card, which is great, but you didn't get their information. So you're the one who has to make the effort to reach out to them. That's the client engagement. You reach out and say, I'm so glad you came to the open house. Thank you so much. Even if they say they have an agent, please let your agent book a showing so they can effectively see what's happening with through Broker Bay if I get an offer so that they're informed. Any other questions on the house, please let me know. Because in Remarketer, if you do an open house, it goes right into the Remarketer. They become a contact on your Remarketer and they can start receiving your newsletter. That is low-hanging fruit. That is the best way to do it. So next question, has anybody here done an open house for another agent? You have? And how was it?
It was good.
It was good?
Technically, it was even far away. It was in Barrie.
It was in Barrie? Okay.
Three times during the month.
Did you get any clients from it?
No.
Did you follow up?
Yes, I did.
You did. Okay. Well, I mean, you don't always win, right? Like the end of the day is it's a numbers game. You could do 3 open houses, not get 1 client. Then the 4th open house, you get 2. You just never know. But
Because I did many open houses for the agent.
Yeah.
And very effective. It's very good because.
You have
know,
here's the thing, we talk about door knocking, right? When you do an open house, whether it's your listing or another agent's listing, you have one-on-one time with people that are
Absolutely.
actively, yeah, looking for a property. Like it's the best time. And that's why I was going to suggest when Pam does her open house presentation, absolutely go to it. But let's talk about that again. So I'm just basing it on my experience. I have agents come into the office and they, Steve, I'm willing to do open houses. So I say to them, okay, go on our WhatsApp thing. And everybody, if you're not on the WhatsApp, you should be, because agents are also um, uh, a channel to get clients. Absolutely. Especially, let's say an agent goes away and you've reached out and you have a good relationship with that agent. They're going to call you and say, hey, can you cover me? We'll split this if I'm away. But does everybody have the WhatsApp with all of the channels that we have? So we have commercial, general business chat, residential rentals, residential sales, and pre-construction. I would suggest anybody not on that, absolutely get on that so you can see what's happening with the other agents. But here's the other thing. So I had an agent in my office and they said, okay, I've sent out on WhatsApp saying I'm available for anybody to do an open house, which is the right thing to do. And they said, oh, no one got back to me. This is what I'm going to say. And I don't know if Suri's on the call or not, Suri Sabri, but I remember up in Keswick where I live, I saw a listing that Suri had on my same street. I just called her, hey, Suri, I saw that listing. How's it going with it, et cetera, et cetera. And she said, oh, it's going, I've had a couple inquiries, the normal conversation. And I said, hey, Suri, I said, are you doing open houses on it? And she said, I'm not right now. I'm busy with another listing in that. And she said, but if anybody wants to do an open house, I'm happy for them to do that. Now that was months ago, but what I'm saying is that if you're not getting any joy and no agent's calling you to do that, that's probably because the agent's not in a situation where they have two listings and both clients are asking for an open house. But it doesn't stop you from calling an agent. For example, Hussein's right here. I call Hussein. I go, Hussein, I saw your listing on Main Street in Newmarket. Are you doing an open house this week? And he says, no, I got the kids this weekend. Can I do an open house for you? I'd love to do it. I'm very professional. I would love to do that. It'd be a great opportunity and it's good for your clients. Do you think he's going to say yes? 90% of the time he's going to say yes, unless the clients are adamant they don't want an open house. So what I'm saying is it's about what am I doing every time to attain clients? What am I doing to effectively use my time? Go on Broker Bay, look up all the listings that we have or ask the front desk and say, can I have a list of the listings? Physically call the agent. Hey, it's Steve Warren. Hey, Dan, it's Steve Warren. I noticed you got a listing up in Woodland Heights in Newmarket. Can I do an open house there this weekend? Would you mind? Could you tell me a bit about the house? Like, they're going to say yes. I would say yes because I want the house to get sold. So there's no reason why you can't be doing that. And if you're doing an open house, you will now have the opportunity where people are coming to you to ask you questions about a property, people that are looking to purchase. It's a great opportunity. So and it goes on again. Are you providing personal experience? How are you nurturing your client relationships? Assuming you have a client or you had a past client, how are you nurturing that? How many times do we all say to ourselves, I should have talked to that person. Man, I sold them that house 2 years ago and I haven't reached out to them. It's never too late to reach out. You'd be surprised that people are happy to hear from people they like. That's how it is. I remember when I first came over to Century 21, Aaron was drilling me the same way, get all your stuff into the CRM, make sure you call people, follow up. And I remember looking at this one number and it was a guy that I had sold a house for probably 3 years before and I hadn't talked to him and I'm like, oh man, this is my fault. So what did I do? I called him. It's tough because, you're putting yourself out there. I said, Jay, it's Steve Warren. I said, I don't know if you remember me. I bought your house up on Laurendale. I said, I was thinking about it the other day. I drove by and I apologize. I've been meaning to reach out to see how you're doing. How's it been? Are you still there? Is it going well? And what was his response? Steve, oh, it's so great to hear from you, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden you reconnect and then don't lose that connection. Keep going. So you could be doing that with every single one of your past clients. Absolutely. And again, when we talk about client engagement, relationship building, what am I doing to get more clients? You should be nurturing the clients you have. You should be spending every moment of your time that you're doing real estate. Even if you're part-time and you do 10 hours a week, those 10 hours should be the most effective hours you have of actually reaching out and nurturing relationships, not just staring at the market trends or reading stuff. I'm not saying you don't want to do courses and better yourself and get knowledge, absolutely, but allocate that time effectively. I had a conversation with Benny, one of our agents in Thornhill, good agent, and he was like, Steve, how do I get more effective in this? And the question I had with him was, how many hours a week do you do real estate? And his honest response was, if I have a client, I'll do 40 hours, 50 hours, whatever that client needs. But if I don't have a client, what am I doing? You should be allocating your 40-hour work week. And if you have a client, maybe it goes down to 20 hours of doing nurturing, but the other 20 is with the client. But you're always doing 40 hours, no matter what. That 40 hours could be prospecting. It could be 15 hours because you have a client that you're spending, 30 hours with, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. You should be doing the time. And I always use this example. If you were starting a business, pretend it's not real estate. Let's say you're going to open up a bakery. I used the example yesterday. Or it could be anything. You're going to open up a restaurant. How many hours a week do you think you would spend working on that restaurant? Any thoughts? How many hours a week would you? 60. You would be there, you would be making the calls for the suppliers, you'd be training staff, you'd be making sure all your channels there, painting, getting the place ready, looking at your marketing strategies, all of these things. You would spend all these hours. Yet people go, they become realtors, they spend all this money and all this time, they pay our monthly fees, they pay the TREB fees, which are astronomical, all that stuff, and then they spend 10 hours a week doing real estate. It's crazy. If you spend, I would even say 10 hours effectively, you will get more clients. It's just the way it is. The work gets the reward. It's not magic. The other thing is, are you asking for and leveraging testimonials and referrals? I mean, if you don't have any clients right now, you should be going down your phone with your couple hundred contacts, calling every single person and saying, hey, just a reminder, I'm in real estate right now. There's a lot of stuff happening, and I wanted to let you know that I really appreciate our friendship. If you do a referral for me, I will make sure that I take care of you. I'm being very careful because the broker of the record is in the room, and I can't say that I'll hand you cash, but I would hand you cash. But anyway, I'm saying I'm not allowed to say that. But I know that I had people that I worked with in my past job, and I called them up and somebody gave me a referral. And whether that's a thank you with a $500 Walmart gift card because you just did a $20,000 deal, whatever it is, you let people know that you appreciate their help and you appreciate their business. So you want to be referred all the time. You want to make sure that people are referring you and saying how great you are. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of successful realtors that only work on repeat referral. It's the Buffini model. And you can interject, yes.
When you were talking about the WhatsApp group,
Mhm.
there were a couple of questions here.
I'm sorry, okay.
And maybe you can go back and revisit how to get onto those groups.
Okay, the WhatsApp groups. Questions, any questions from out there? Questions here. What? Okay, so for the WhatsApp group, if you email me, I will invite you onto the group. So just email and say, Steve, can you add me to WhatsApp? And I will put you on the group, okay? Are you on the group, Hussein?
Yeah, I'm on the group.
Okay.
I just have another question. Is there any way that we can connect Instagram account to our website or?
You can do a link. You can do a hyperlink and have your Instagram. So if they're on your website, they can click and see your Facebook. Absolutely, yeah. And I would suggest, and I hope she doesn't get inundated with calls, you just call Debbie and she can sort that out for you. Absolutely. There is ones in your settings in Remarketer where you can, because Remarketer ties into everything. It ties into your listing, ties into your website, ties into your emails, all that kind of stuff, right? So in Remarketer, under your account settings, so where your picture is, go under account settings. I'm sure there's links there that you can add for your Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. I won't show it now, but if you don't find it, just contact Debbie through customer support at Century 21. Okay. So the question is, are you following up with leads effectively? I have seen, we have the C21 leads now that we're working with, where you can pay monthly and you can get the online leads, very similar to Follow Up Boss, Agent Locator, all that kind of stuff. And it's funny because unless you're following up, it's a waste of money because those leads have to be followed up right away because we know the percentage. It's a very low percentage, but again, let's say you spend $5,000 a year opting into that leads 21. All you need is one deal. One deal, you get a $15,000 paycheck. You paid for it and made 10 grand. The problem is people go into it and then they don't actually respond to the leads because one lead comes in at 8 o'clock at night. Oh, I'll get to that tomorrow. I'll get to that. The lead is only hot for the first 5 minutes. That's my personal opinion. If you're not responding within 5 minutes, don't waste your money. It's all about getting there quickly, effectively establishing that relationship with that lead and trying to work from there. And you can ask somebody like Tammy Rasmussen, who does a lot of lead stuff, or Farshid. it's a numbers game. You've got to constantly go, and it might take a year for that person to actually use you because they're getting to know you. They're deciding, they're on the fence. They've logged into a website because they want some information, but maybe they're not ready to buy or sell yet. But you establish that relationship. Lastly, measuring success and adjusting strategies. What key performance indicators, a lot of people call them KPIs, are you tracking? What are you tracking? How often do you analyze and adjust your approach? Are you seeking feedback from clients and peers? And are you investing in continued learning and industry trends? Let's break this down. What key performance indicators? So what should you be tracking? I'm going to tell you the easiest one to track. The easiest one is your responses to your emails. People say emails are only about 30% effective. Well, 30% is better than nothing. So I would say if I send an email out, let's say, for example, I decide I want to hit my 200 contacts that I have in Remarketer. I've seen the rise and rose condo market. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use Remarketer, use ChatGPT, write it down. I've shown this 100 times and going, okay, it's a great time to buy a condo, which it is right now. We know that because the condo market's tanked. Great time to buy a condo. Here's the reasons why A, B, C, and D. Then you pull in the listing and you say, here, this is the couple things that we have exclusive access to, and send it out. Blast that out to all your clients. Where the agent stops usually is they send it out and they go, okay, I feel good. I sent out, some leads to a whole pile of contacts in my Remarketer. What they don't do is they don't go back into Remarketer 2 days later and look at the analytics and see who opened it, who clicked on it, all that all the way down. Because what you should be doing is if somebody opens your email and they clicked on, let's say, Rise and Rose condo development, you should be calling them right away. Hey, John, it's Steve. I sent you that email yesterday. Did you see that? You know they saw it because you could see the click. You're not going to say that. You're just going, did you see that? Oh, yeah, I saw that. Oh, it's a great opportunity. Do you want to talk about it? Yeah, let's grab a coffee because I've got a few other condos too. It's a great opportunity right now if you're looking for an investment as a rental property, et cetera, et cetera. You're creating that business. That's the things you should be doing when you're in the office every day. Next thing is, how do you analyze and adjust your approach? The question is, let's say I have 2 agents in the office and they're both going to go door knocking. It's a fact of life. One agent might go door knocking, hit 100 houses and get 2 listing appointments. Another agent might go door knocking, hit 200 houses and get 0 listing appointments. It's a fact of life. Different personalities, different approaches, different strategies. The idea is we're not all the same, which is great because we're not only competing against ourselves, but you have to analyze your strengths and weaknesses. Analyze your approach and saying, is this approach working for me? If it's not, how do I change it? And you can ask advice. You can ask any of the managers, the broker record, the owners, anything. Fellow realtors that are successful. What's your approach? How do you do it? No 2 are going to be exact, but I'll tell you, once you get your stride, you'll start to feel it. The other thing is, are you seeking feedback from clients and peers? It's a great reason to reach out to somebody. Let's say you bought somebody a house 6 months ago, or you did a lease for somebody. So many people don't go back to people they did leases for because they think, oh, they're never going to buy. Well, they might in a year or 2. So going back and saying, hey, I just wanted to know, I just wanted some honest feedback. Did I do everything you needed? Was there any way that I could improve? I always want to improve myself, and you were a great client. And I just want to have a candid conversation. Is there anything that I could have done better? Or what did you like about my service? And I'll tell you, people appreciate that, and you're also reconnecting. It's a reason to reach out to somebody. The next question is, are you investing in continued learning in industry trends? We have the Excel training platform. It's very effective. It's really good. I had, can talk out loud, but I had Kurosh in yesterday. We were talking about him getting more into commercial. So I called John, who's an expert in commercial, and John Smolders, and he said, on Excel, there's a 10 video course on commercial real estate. So I sent that to Kurosh, and now he's investing his time into learning more commercial so that he can expand his, I guess, capabilities in real estate so that he can provide that. The other thing is, use your agents. There's 800 agents here. And I'll tell you, some agents don't want to do commercial. Other agents don't want to do pre-construction. Like everybody has, like I said, has their approaches, their skill set and everything. If you start building relationships with other agents, it could be that an agent calls you 3 weeks from now and says, hey, Steve, I really liked our chat last week. You said you do commercial. I got a client that's looking for a commercial space. It's not really my forte. Can I give them to you? Absolutely. Well, they are sources of income as well. Fellow agents are revenue generating as well. If you have good relationships, even with the agents you're up against buying and selling a house, always try and have a great relationship, professional, good relationship. Nextly, action plan for improvement. You need to identify your areas that you need improvement on. Take a piece of paper, put a pad and say, what do I do well? And I can guarantee almost everybody on this call, because I'm the same, is going to say, I need to plan my day better. I need to effectively follow through on the things I said I was going to do. How many of us go, oh, I'm going to make 5 calls today, but you find every excuse not to, because it's easier to change your logo. It's easier to, email somebody about something else and not actually do the tough stuff. But the tough stuff's what makes you money. Identify areas that need improvement, and then set the SMART. Has anybody heard of SMART? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound goals. If you set your goals for the week, just for the week, this week, I want to door knock on these 50 houses. This week, I want to get another, if I have no clients, I want to get an agent to allow me to do an open house this weekend. This week, I want to reach out to 5 people in my contact list. Just set yourself small, measurable, achievable goals, and you will hit them. And you'll feel so much better because all of a sudden you get a client and you go, hey, this actually works. This is something that I can do. Also, don't be afraid to implement new strategies and monitor success. Implement things that maybe it's a little outside of your comfort area. Just see how it does. Try a different strategy you've never done. If you've never door knocked before, or you don't want to door knock in that, find another agent that's good at door knocking. Hey, can I just go with you? I'll take the other side of the street. Test yourself, expand yourself, see if you can do it. And also stay adaptable and open to new techniques and technologies because things are changing. And it's funny, things are changing a lot and people get nervous about change. Stay adaptable to that. But one thing never changes. Nothing changes more effective than in-person talking to somebody or a phone call. We can have all the technology we want. People like to have relationships with people. And lastly, I hammer this down to all the agents all the time, and I apologize, but it works. Do you have a weekly agenda to keep yourself on track? Now that we're talking about how do you get ways to get more clients, you know the ways, you have to do them. You have to have an agenda. This is just a Excel spreadsheet or a Google Sheets. All you do is you put in your time zones. What am I doing on Monday? Every Monday at 9 o'clock, I'm in Remarketer. I'm doing 3 emails and I'm doing 3 phone calls. No matter what, that's my job. Every Monday at 10 o'clock, I'm working my farm area. What does that mean? That could mean that goes into other things. I'm going to look at all the new listings. Maybe that pushes me to make some cold calls. Maybe that pushes me to knock on doors in my farm area. Maybe that pushes me to drop off some door knockers, some pop-bys, whatever that is, that's there. What am I doing at 11 o'clock on Monday? I'm uploading to my social media. So every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I spend an hour and I do my socials.
Hear your
Now,
voice.
sorry? I missed
It's
that.
okay now. I couldn't hear. It's okay now. Thanks.
Okay. And it goes on. Now this, if you look, is fairly sparse. I haven't completely filled it in because let's be honest, you have to have a work-life balance. A lot of people have kids. Maybe they have another job. Maybe they're taking care of somebody, a family, whatever that is. You should be building this agenda out to effective, but don't have stuff in that wastes time. Have things in that directly relate to actually getting you business because that's your job. That's how you make money. So I got here on Wednesdays, visit local businesses, leave pens discussing cross advertising. If you're going for lunch, everybody has to eat. Instead of just going for lunch and sitting at the table, say to the waitress, hey, is the owner in today? Oh, actually he is. He's at the back there. Oh, can I talk to him for a sec? They have no idea you can talk. Introduce yourself. My name's Steve Warren. I'm actually a realtor. I love this restaurant. I come here every week. Is there any way I could just do something about supporting local, especially in this environment where we're talking about buying Canadian, doing everything Canadian, and just say to them, hey, can I do it? Hey, I'm Steve Warren. I'm your local realtor. I'm the expert in this area and I'm at my favorite restaurant. This is Mohammed. He has the best place here I've ever had. It's the best restaurant ever. You should come down, support your local thing. Because what's going to happen when you do that? He's going to go, hey, that's a nice guy. I like that. And then you go, hey, can I leave a couple cards here? If you ever have any real estate issues, let me know. I did that to my barber. Aaron actually told me to do it. It's funny enough. This was years ago. I went to Ralph's barber shop and Please don't, now it's Peter Paget does it. But anyway, I went to my barber shop, and every single time that I went to the barber shop, he would ask me about real estate, making small talk, and I would talk about the market, etc. And I started to get more involved with him. Like, I would tell people, hey, you should go to Ralph. He's a great stylist, blah, 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 blah. And he saw that I was doing that because a couple of people said, oh, Steve Warren said for me to get my hair cut here. My dad started going there. All of a sudden, I got a call from him. And he said, hey, Steve, I had this guy in the barber chair. His name's Michael. He's got a house on Highway 48. He's looking to sell, going through divorce, etc. I gave him your number. And I said, oh, great. And I said, you don't have his number. He says, yeah, he left it. Do you want to give him a call? I got that listing. And that was because Ralph the barber thought I was a nice guy, knew I was a realtor, and passed that on. Maybe it's only a 5% chance, but you want to have as many chances as possible to make business. And again, this agenda that I built out here, this can look any way you want. Build something out, print it out, put it in your home office, put it in your office, at our office, whatever you got to do. And this should be a 4-week living document. And what I mean by that is if you follow this to the T for 4 weeks, you're going to know what stuff's working for you and what stuff's not. Whatever's not working, change it. If you're terrible at door knocking, don't door knock. Why waste your time? If you're excellent at cold calls, cold call more. If you're excellent at, doing the emails or reaching out to people by phone, make more calls. Do what you're good at, but don't be afraid to try other things because you never know. Things just turn up. Any questions so far? I get excited about this stuff, but that's pretty much it. I just wanted to go through that. It was just a bit of a pick me up to say, hey, just start working more effectively. You all know what to do. A lot of you have been in real estate for a while. Sometimes you just need to reassess is what I'm doing effectively getting me clients?